Wide receiver that the Browns got day 3 ended up being Jamari Thrash from Louisville. Andrew Berry explained what the Browns saw and liked in Thrash.
So, Jamari, we liked his route skill and his separation ability. This was a guy that both was very productive at Georgia State, and then transferring up to Louisville, really answered the bell there, and then really even through the Senior Bowl in January. We view him as a guy who can play outside and inside. He's good with the ball in his hands. So as we think through our offense and our fit within that receiver room, we're looking forward to seeing him compete for reps, and we think he's a guy that has position flex.
And so, Jeff, when you look at it, day 3 pick. I mean, they like what they saw. They value the one thing that tells me they really value route running.
Well, there's no question. And when you see the success a guy like Amari Cooper has, that was one of the reasons that drew them to Elijah Moore. It's one of the reasons that drew them to Jerry Jeudy. I think we all walked out of Thursday night round 1, and everybody's whistle was kind of getting wet. Man, would the Browns have a shot? And then right off the bat, Keon Coleman went, then Ladd McConkey went, and then reality set in that even though some of these guys didn't go Thursday night, they went right off the board Friday night. The Browns got to 54. There was obviously not a receiver there they liked. Got to 85, and by that time, the offensive tackle and the wide receiver room was pretty much dry. And even with that, and we talked about 71 pick gap between 85 and 156, the Browns, they know what the roster looks like for this year, but they always like to have that flexibility going to each year. They got 8 picks already on the board for next year's draft. They had an opportunity, if they wanted to trade up once. That's probably all they could have done in this draft if they wanted to. They chose to stay pat. Thrash is interesting because I do like this better than what they did the last couple of years, bringing in a Marquise Goodwin at his age and hoping that that guy can fill that role. Because, one little thing goes wrong and Goodwin missed a lot of time, you never really get him antiquated into the offense. Thrash will be here, should be here for 4 years. Even if it doesn't work right away, he could be a guy at 2025 that could be, start to compete for, reps and receptions when maybe Amari Cooper might not be here. Maybe Elijah Moore might not be here. Not saying that's going to be the way it is, but it could possibly turn out that way. But, ran well. And I think the jump for him from Georgia State to Louisville, and then the production was still pretty close to matching it. That was a really smart move, obviously, for Jamari Thrash. Went to the Senior Bowl, showed well. Did have some issues with drops last year, but from Dane Brugler's, the Beast, he obviously played part of the season last year with a broken hand. Does have small hands in general at less than 9 inches, which isn't usually ideal for a wide receiver, but it's not something that truly affected him in his career. This is a guy that's going to find open space. So you don't have to worry about the small hands so much because it's not like they're going to be these big contested catches where he's got to take a hit from a 220-pound safety. Just like Andrew Berry said, he runs good routes, he creates separation, and the one thing the Cleveland Browns do like is he can play the X, he can play the Y, he can play the slot. That's what the Browns like. They don't want to have a tell. They want to be able to just go with guys in multiple formations, lining up in different spots. That is one of the things they love, which creates a lot of diversity for them. Everybody's always critiqued them for years for not being a big motion team. But one way they counteract that is the fact that they will line guys up anywhere. Njoku will end up wide, in line, slot. They'll do this with anybody. We saw Jerome Ford do it last year, wind up wide several times. They like that diversity look. And the reason they don't do as much motion, I think, is they like to have the quarterback know exactly what his read, the speed of his reads should be before the play goes.